This new mark represents not only who we are today, but where we're going in the future. So we'd like to show you a little video first, and then I'll share more information.
Our mission at Dayton Children's has never wavered. Kids come first, and they always will. That's why we're transforming from the inside out, because we believe that the children of Dayton deserve a great children's hospital close to home. We're proud of our history, and with all the progress we're making today to reach new heights, we're excited to soar into the future with our mission stronger than ever. Welcome to the new Dayton Children's.
This is really a pivotal time for us here at Dayton Children's. An evolution is really happening here. Those of us inside the walls know it, but we want to make sure our entire community is aware of the exciting changes that have been happening over the past several years. So you couldn't not be aware of one of the biggest ones as you drove up here, and that of course is the new patient tower that is soaring to new heights as we speak, reaching new heights. And it is truly going to provide a unique setting for incredible care for our kids. We're also growing our South Campus. Again, if you've driven down 75, you've seen that coming out of the ground as well. And we will have really a one-of-a-kind destination ambulatory center in our South Market, where we've seen a very large growth of children and families in that particular part of our community. And so as our community is growing in that area, we, Dayton Children's, need to be there to serve our families. We have hired scores of new physicians here at Dayton Children's. We are closing in on about 40 new physicians here at Dayton Children's. These are highly specialized pediatric subspecialists. These are some of the most talented and compassionate physicians you could ever encounter. And we are getting calls literally weekly almost with physicians that have heard that something special is happening at Dayton Children's and they want to be a part of it. Many of these new physicians, as well as our existing physicians who have served us well, have brought new capabilities to Dayton Children's. New services, new ways of providing care that are really revolutionizing what we're doing here in our community. We've become a magnet hospital. And for those of you that don't know what that is the designation given by the American Academy of Credentialing of Nurses. It's the highest level of designation you can receive. Only 7% of hospitals in the country have nurses that rate this designation. And we've launched our Center for Child Health and Wellness and our Centers for Mental Health Resources. We are focused not only on those children that come into our walls, but those children that are outside of our community, because at Dayton Children's, we care about all of our children. Really, I don't know how to say it any more plainly than this. Nobody cares about the health and well-being of our children in our community more than the staff of Dayton Children's. It's as simple as that. So we needed to make sure that the community knew what was going on here. We have families that come here every day. They know what's going on here, but thankfully, most of our children will never see the doors of Dayton Children's, and many of our citizens, our residents, their children are gone. But they know how important it is that we have a children's hospital here in Dayton, Ohio. So we went out to the community and we asked them, what do you think about us? What is our brand, as the marketers would say? And what we heard was that they perceive they have very high recognition of Dayton Children's, which is wonderful. They perceive us as an incredibly compassionate place, but they weren't aware of the high level of expertise and specialization that we have here at Dayton Children's. They weren't aware that they could get world-class care right here in their community. So we needed to ensure that that message was out. So it was clear that we needed a new brand identity, one that not only encapsulates the compassion that we provide here every day, but that also includes the specialists that we have, the expert pediatric specialists throughout this hospital, together with our commitment to serve the children of the Dayton region. We have world-renowned specialists, but what they truly specialize in is taking care of kids right here in the Dayton region. So we chose the Whirligig. That's what we call this spinning circle of colorful ribbons that link all of our caregivers, both those here in the hospital to those outside our walls, to the child, the star at the center of all we do. So we are really excited what this new logo represents. It's the theme of our new tower. The theme of our new tower is things that fly. So we were really excited that we could and take our inspiration for this new logo from people that invented flight. So the Wright brothers actually had a toy when they were young boys given to them by their father, and it was called a Whirligig. And it had a very similar feel to this logo, and it was a toy that they played with and began their inspiration and began their fascination with flight. So like the Wright brothers, our Dayton Children's founders were pioneers, and they identified the need for a children's hospital then, and we continue on their legacy now as we really transform really from the inside out. So I'd like to just give you some understanding of what we see as the symbolism in our logo. And first, of course, we need to start with the star. As I said, the child really is the center of everything we do here at Dayton Children's. The child and their family is what we're about and how we focus all of our attention. So they are truly our singular focus and needed to be at the center of our new logo. The ribbons represent the many caregivers, both, as I said, inside and outside the hospital, that it takes to take care of a child. The vibrant colors represent the many services we provide, the diversity of our patient population, and the bright future that we see for all of our kids. And the lowercase font. We had a lot of questions about the lowercase font, but it represents that we at Dayton Children's provide our care. Everything we do at a child's level. And we have the humility of understanding that we are privileged, truly privileged to serve the children of the Dayton region. So we're very excited about this, and I could go on, but nobody can tell the story of Dayton Children's better than families and children that have been cared for here. So I want to introduce the Neff family. And Paul, Amanda, you're going to hear a story about Amanda, and then Paul is going to share some of their personal experiences. So please.
We were at the park. She was playing with her friend, and she came over to me and looked at me with just one little tear and said, "Mama, I have a headache." And I said, "Okay, your sister's at the van. Why don't you go sit with your sister and I will be right there." And I look over, and our oldest was struggling to get Amanda in the car. The van, she had started to collapse.
There was a problem, big one, so they called Care Flight.
When I first met her, she was in very bad condition, had no brainstem reflexes at that point. And that is a very serious situation. That's actually the criteria we use to declare someone brain dead.
Her brain had swollen so much, her brainstem started to herniate.
We had to put her in a coma with medications, keep her paralyzed for several days to reduce the pressure in the brain. We did a craniotomy to remove the blood clot and to remove the abnormal tangle of blood vessels. Essentially, she looked to be a patient that was lost. And slowly, she began to recover.
You know, she was coming back to life from being brain dead when she got to the emergency room. Dr. Lober, when she woke up, he came in, he goes, "I went physical therapy in here ASAP, I went occupational, I went speech therapy," and they were there.
When Amanda was originally injured and in the hospital, she had no motion on the left side of her body. So she was really frustrated, and then all of a sudden, bam, she took a step, and Mom and Dad were in the room, and they kind of were like, "What's going on?" And I was like, am I gonna start crying for them? Like, she just took a step and we did it again. And then I knew that she was gonna progress really fast. So now that we went from taking one step to now we were running and skipping and galloping, almost everything a typical 10-year-old would be doing. I think she has really put in the work at home, and that's, I think, what has made her what she is right now.
In the 10 years that I've been treating these types of patients and have been involved in their care, I haven't seen a situation where someone had no brainstem reflexes and then made basically a complete recovery. So it's been a perspective change for me, actually. When I see a situation now that I think is hopeless, I think of Amanda. And so it's really been an inspiration.
We owe Dayton Children's our daughter's life, and we'll never forget that.
Well, first of all, good morning. Ma'am, thank you for having us out today. It's awesome.
Please return to your child treatment area. Thank you.
As you can imagine, I told myself I wasn't going to do this today. This is still pretty raw for us after 6.5 months. You know, I grew up here in Dayton, just up in Clayton, about 20 minutes away. My dad grew up here. My mom came in from Virginia. And as I was growing up, they always referred to this place as Barney's. You know, and it was as if, you know, Paul needed booster shots. You know, where do we take him? Where's his pediatrician this week? He's at Barney's or he is at his office. You know, whatever it may be. That little children's hospital down on Valley Street. That's what they looked at. Okay. And growing up, I knew, even after the name change, you know, I knew it was here. I knew they did great work. Even after our kids were born, our oldest was here for some work as a baby, nothing major. And then I thought, you know, great place to take a child if they break their arm. Well, sure enough, February last year, Craig broke his arm, and we brought him here. They patched him up, and we went home. But you know, little did we realize, 7 months later, we'd be back here. And, you know, they saved her life, bottom line. And, folks, this isn't Barney's anymore. This isn't that little children's hospital on Valley Street. It's world class. World class. We are very fortunate to have this here. Obviously, you can tell. And if anybody doubts that, I got a 10-year-old down here I can introduce him to. And that star is right. The kids come first. And, you know, they took care of the parents and the siblings too. You know, because they all knew we were struggling. And pastoral staff was awesome. So, as you can tell, I'm a crier, so I'll get off the stage, but this place is awesome.
I'm not quite sure what else I can say after that. We are propelled by the determination to provide the very best specialized care for kids here in the Dayton region. That's why we exist, for kids like Amanda, for her family. Everything we've done and we're doing is rooted in data about what we need here in our community for our kids. We are really reaching new heights, and we are so appreciative that this community understands and recognizes the importance of children and a children's hospital. So thank you all for coming, and we'll all be around. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. And again, thank you to Amanda and her family.